Curb flashing, VGC-5.1. There are some instances where it may not be possible to use Versico's quick applied curb flashings, such as when a curb is over 13 inches in height. When this occurs, Versico recommends using cured EPDM membrane in conjunction with 3-inch QA seam tape. This process begins with the proper securement of the membrane. Measure the perimeter of the curb and add a minimum of 4 inches. To determine the width of the flashing, add a minimum of 3 inches from the edge of the securement extending to the top of the curb. This curb will require a continuous piece of cured membrane, approximately 16 inches wide by 76 inches long. To determine the location of your vertical splice, mark the end membrane at 4 inches to achieve a minimum 3-inch splice. To determine the location of the deck splice, mark the membrane at 5 inches. Bonding adhesive is applied at a rate of 60 square feet per gallon of finished surface. Do not apply bonding adhesive in splice areas. Apply EPDM primer to the deck membrane. When using clean membrane, primer may be roller applied. Allow the primer to dry. Position the QA seam tape 3 inches away from the securement point. Apply hand pressure to the tape to remove trapped air. Apply bonding adhesive to the curb. Allow bonding adhesive to flash off until it passes the tack test. Position the flashing on the outside corner. Pull light tension on the flashing and wrap it around the curb. Cut and remove excess material at the vertical splice. Cut the vertical splice diagonally. Apply EPDM primer to the flashing. When using pre-cleaned membrane, primer may be roller applied. Allow the primer to dry. Cut the membrane at the corners down to the deck. Lay the membrane onto the clear poly and check the splice edge to ensure the tape will be exposed. Trim the membrane to allow an 1/8 inch minimum to a 1/2 inch maximum exposure of tape. Round the corners of the membrane. Peel off the poly from the QA seam tape and mate the surfaces together by applying hand pressure toward the outside edge of the splice. Roll all splice areas with a 2-inch wide roller. Prime both sides of the splice area and allow to dry. Place a section of 3-inch tape on the flashing. If necessary, trim the flashing so that 1/8 inch minimum to 1/2 inch maximum of the tape is exposed. Complete the corners following the VGC 15.5, VGC 15.6, or VGC 15.7.